Howdy folks, I'm Dr. Stephen Lane from HP Tech and I'm here to do a quick video, hopefully, on how to get your nutrition right for Peaks Challenge. We've got not long to go and you should be fit by now, and really your performance on the day the fitness is there, but a good performance is dictated by getting the simple things right, and the biggest one of those is getting your nutrition right. So what I want to do is run through quickly how much you should actually be aiming for on the day. I want to talk about why you need it, because I think that's important. And then I'm going to give an example of what I actually use on the day itself for me to get around in 8 hours. All right, so why do you need to eat? Two main reasons. The body uses fat and carbohydrate for energy. The harder you go, the more carbohydrate you use. And when we ride around a course trying to do it as quick as we can, you're riding at a pretty high percentage of your FTP, and that means you're burning through a lot of carbohydrate compared to at rest. So you need to ingest carbohydrate orally. We call that exogenous carbohydrate, and you get that through basically sugar. You've already got carbohydrates stored in the body, you've got it stored in the muscle, you've got some in the liver, and you've also got it circulating around the bloodstream. The reason we do a carbohydrate load in the couple of days before a big event is to make sure that your muscle glycogen and your liver glycogen are topped up and hopefully super compensated, so it's higher than normal. So you've got a bigger fuel tank for the day. The main thing here is because if your blood glucose goes down, your brain is the central governor. It's the one that says, hey, you're not doing real good here. I'm going to stop you from exercising. If you can keep it happy by giving it what it wants, which is basically sugar and carbohydrate, you should be able to keep going. Now, secondly, if your muscle runs out of carbohydrate, you can still keep going, but it means the intensity that you can keep going at is going to be reduced. So the reason you want to keep eating carbohydrate is to keep the brain happy, to keep blood glucose levels up so that it keeps going to the muscle, because the more you can get to the muscle, the harder you will be able to keep going for a longer period of time. And that's the point. So usually when you get to like the 4 or 5 hour mark, that's usually when your muscle can start to run out. So you need that. From then on is the point where you need to really focus on getting carbohydrate in on a regular basis. So how much do you need? Well, I did one of these videos about 5 or 6 years ago, and sports science back then used to say about 60 to 80 grams of carbohydrate. Fast forward to now, we're now saying between 80 and 100, 120 grams an hour, up to 150 if you've trained your gut well enough to be able to absorb it. So our recommendation now is higher than it used to be. But I think that's a little bit determined by the individual. If you've got a really high FTP, and there's some riders doing 3 peaks with an FTP nearly 400 watts, and they're going very fast. The higher your FTP, the more work you are able to do over a given period of time. The more work you're able to do requires more energy to be able to do that. If your FTP is lower and you're a small rider and your FTP is only 150, 200 watts maybe, you don't necessarily need that much energy coming in because you're not burning that much energy. I am going to be aiming for 100 grams an hour. I think that's enough for me. My FTP is like 340. I ride up most of the climbs between 280 and sort of 300, 310 watts. That kind of diminishes as the ride goes on, but that's kind of where I'm at. So to get me round, and I do this every year, to be honest, I probably still get fueling wrong. I've done this ride like 6 or 7 times now, and I still struggle to get this much in, and it takes practice. I think I've got it dialed in though, and this is what I actually do on the day to try and help me get my 100 gram target. What I use in training and in the event is a sports drink in my bottle. So I always carry 2 big bottles. These are like 750, 800 ml bottles. I always carry one with water, and I always have one with a relatively strong sports drink. Sports drink can be as simple as good old Staminade from the supermarket, but this thing's literally just glucose or sucrose, which is glucose and fructose. You make it up real strong and it's pretty darn sweet. These days, a lot of the good sports drinks, similar to this Sul Nutrition one that I use, and I recommend this one because they're a Melbourne-based mob and I like to help local, but 2, this one's maltodextrin and fructose. I can make this up pretty strong, and because maltodextrin is a non-sweet tasting carbohydrate, you can make it up pretty strong and it's not sickly sweet. So what I do in training and racing, or for this event, is I put 4 scoops of this into a bottle. 4 scoops is 200 grams of carbohydrate. So there's like 45 grams per scoop. So 4 and a little bit to get it up to 200. So I'm gonna have one pretty strong bottle of carbohydrate, which is basically too strong to drink on its own. And that's why I've got the water with me as well. So it's a swig of the sports drink, swig of the water. In training, I always carry a few gels with me, just because they're easy. So in training, I try and meet up between 80 and 100 grams an hour when I've got the big days, my big 6-hour rides where I'm doing my 90% repeats and I want to be good right till the end. I always take these things, which is a SIS Beta Fuel gel. There's 40 grams of carbohydrate per one of those. But because the gels are expensive, in training, I offset that with these little fruit bars at the moment. In the past, I've had LCM's bars and recommended them. I kind of just change month to month. But these little guys, the little fruit bars, have 25 grams of carbohydrate. There's glucose and fructose, which is what you want. You want that combo. So I'll take probably half a dozen of these bars with me, and then offset that with gels as well and my sports drink. And that's in training. But on the day itself, I don't have the bars. I don't know how people can eat things like fruitcake and muesli bars and things while they're riding up a hill at a solid intensity. I find it super hard to chew and I lose my breath, so I stick to gels. I can get one down in like 10 seconds, stick it back in my pocket, and I'm on my way again. So on the day, I'm 8 hours, so I break that up into 2 parts. For 8 hours, I need 800 grams of carbohydrate on me. Because it's 2 parts, I have 400 leaving Falls Creek, and then I get to dinner plane. I get my valet bag, and in my valet bag, I've got 2 bottles, one with 200 grams of carbohydrate, one with water, and then I've got my next batch of gels. I'll have 5 gels with me. These are 40 grams each, 5 of them is another 200. So all up, first half I've got 400, second half I've got 400 total. I may supplement that a little bit with the famous Coca-Cola at Trapyard Gap. So I'm getting some extra stuff in possibly, but this is the bare minimum that I'm having. It's as simple as that. Nutrition doesn't have to be that complicated. The hard part is making sure you get to dinner plane, or for me, and all of these are actually gone, and I've drunk all of this, and I know, okay, I'm halfway, I've got nothing left in my pockets, my bottle's empty, I've had 400 grams, I'm on target. If it's a hot day, you need to think a little bit more about hydration and electrolytes, and I may put a hydration tab in my water bottle, or I may be forced to stop a little bit longer at dinner plane and actually get more hydration. When you stop and fill your bottles up at any of the feed stations, while you're filling it up, fill it up, drink some, like scull 400 mils or so, and then fill it up again. Then you've topped up, it's just extra fluid coming in. I guess the one thing that I also kind of include with nutrition is my caffeine intake. And I always have a coffee in the morning, just gets me going, gets me to the start line. But then I usually have a decent dose of caffeine at about after Omeo somewhere before I get to dinner, to Angler's Rest. I have that in the form of another Beta Fuel SIS gel, but this is the nootropics one. This one has 200 milligrams of caffeine and 1,000 milligrams of taurine. These things knock me around a bit. There's a lot in it. And if you are buying this stuff, just be careful, everybody. If you get the nootropics ones, they're not normal gels. They look it's kind of dangerous because they do look normal. So don't OD on caffeine by getting the wrong gels. If it says nootropics, you don't really want to have any more than 2 of those in a day. If I need a little bit more caffeine, I'll use something like No-Dose. It's just a simple little capsule from the supermarket you can get in the, the medicine aisle kind of thing. Folks, that's it. Like, the biggest thing I can say is do a dress rehearsal of what you've been eating. Everyone I've been coaching, I've been asking them to send me photos of what they're taking with them on their training rides so I can critique it. And then I also get them to send me what they actually ate at the end of the ride so I can, did they get through it? The biggest thing is that, like, when you're in an event like this and there's a lot going on, you're in a group, you're descending, you're climbing, you're getting tired, and that is a problem. The tireder you get, the less you feel like eating. And eating is not about hunger. Eating is about, I don't call eating a gel eating. Eating is, I just call it ingesting. This isn't about eating, about hunger. This is about just fueling the body for what you need to do. Folks, I'm going to leave it there. That's me. I'm going to link all this stuff to what I use in the description below. Good luck in the next couple of weeks of training. And get your nutrition right. You're about as fit as you're going to get right now. The rest of it's just all about confidence in yourself and actually feeling good in your training rides. Plan to succeed. Like, go out, don't go out tired, go out fresh in your training rides, come home strong. Yeah, that's about it. But other than that, folks, I will see you up there in less than a month now. I hope all's going well your end. I'm feeling pretty fit, and that's about it. If you see me, say good day and good luck.